dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom. My dear students, today in Standard 8th History, we'll be learning the topic Effects of British Rule. So in this topic, we are going to talk about the establishment of East India Company, British and Marathas, Subsidies Alliance, Chhatrapati Pratap Singh, then effects of British rule on India. So now the first point about which we are going to talk is establishment of East India Company. So in general or in short, we are going to study the effects of British rule over India. The European powers reached the Indian coast that we have already studied in the last chapter. In that, Portuguese, Dutch and British entered the race for capturing the Indian market, and if we talk about the powers reached the Indian coast, in that Portuguese, Dutch, French and British. When the British came to India for trade purpose, the Portuguese has already settled and they gave a bitter resistance. It means that the competition between Portuguese and British. Later, friendly relations developed between them, but to establish the domination over India, the British had to face opposition from French and also from Dutch and of some local rulers. Try to understand here one thing. एक तो ये सभी लोग जो आए वो किसी ना किसी पर्पस से आए थे और यहाँ आके उन्होंने देखा कि यहाँ तो बहुत कुछ है, तो उन्होंने अपना अपना बिजनेस यहाँ पे सेट किया. एंड व्हेन ब्रिटिशर्स केम, पोर्टुगीज़ के साथ उनकी लड़ाई हुई, लेकिन बाद में उन्होंने फ्रेंडशिप कर दी और सोचा कि कोई एक इंडिया को खाए, इससे अच्छा है कि दोनों मिलके हम यहाँ से जो कुछ लेकर जा सकते हैं वो लेकर जाएंगे. बट द क्वेश्चन वॉज ऑफ डच, फ्रेंच एंड सम लोकल रूलर्स. So to establish the domination over India, the British had to face opposition from French, Dutch and of some local rulers. As you can see on the screen in the image, British and Marathas, in the local rulers now we are talking. Mumbai was the main center of British in Western India. If we talk about the Western India, Mumbai was the main center of British. They were trying to acquire the nearby territories, but Marathas had strong hold over it, and that you people already learnt in the 7th standards history. After the death of Peshwa Madhav Rao, his uncle Raghunath Rao approached for help from the British due to his greed for Peshwaship. And here the Britishers got small hole. जो उन्हें चाहिए था वो उन्हें मिल गया. पहले तो वो आजू बाजू की टेरिटरीज एक्वायर नहीं कर पा रहे थे बिकॉज ऑफ द स्ट्रॉन्ग होल्ड ऑफ मराठास. बट जैसे ही पेशवा माधवराव की डेथ हुई, रघुनाथ राव ब्रिटिशर्स के पास चले गए फॉर देयर हेल्प, और ब्रिटिश लोगों को एक छोटी सी जगह मिली वहाँ पर घुसने के लिए. दिस लेड टू द एंट्रेंस ऑफ द ब्रिटिश इन मराठा पॉलिटिक्स. डायरेक्टली it was not possible for the British, but because of the approach of Raghunath Rao, it was very easy, or it became easy for the British to the entrance in Maratha politics. So during 1774 and 1880, three wars were fought between the Marathas and the British. During the first war, the Marathas unitedly faced the British and hence proved superior. But as we know, the policy of British was to divide and rule, and they were succeed in that. So in 1782, with the Treaty of Salbai, the first Anglo-Maratha War came to an end. And because of this, the next point which we are going to study, what happened because of all these things, all these political entrance of British in the different regions of our country. Subsidies Alliance. In 1798, Lord Wellesley arrived in India as governor, and his objective was very clear. It was to establish the British dominion all over India. He came with very clear thought, he came with very clear objective that to establish the British dominion over India. पूरा इंडिया उसे चाहिए था. And for this, he signed the Subsidies Alliance with many Indian rulers. Now, what was this Subsidies Alliance? According to this alliance, the Indian rulers have to maintain British army in their court and have to pay cash or part of their territory to the company for its maintenance. Again, I am repeating this. As per or according to Subsidies Alliance, the Indian rulers have to maintain British army in their court. इंडियन रूलर्स जो थे उनको ब्रिटिश आर्मी उनके कोर्ट में रखना ज़रूरी था, और उसके बदले में उन्हें ब्रिटिश को कैश देना था या फिर उनके टेरिटरी का कुछ पार्ट देना था. तो जो कैश नहीं दे सकते थे या नहीं देना चाहते थे, वो समझते थे कि चलो थोड़ा सा हिस्सा जो अपने टेरिटरी का है वो दे देंगे, लेकिन इसमें ही उनका ऑब्जेक्टिव क्लियर हो जाता था, उन्हें जो चाहिए था वो मिल जाता था. द रूलर would not have any alliance with any other power or declare war against any power without the intervention of the British. It means that it was direct hold of British army over that particular king or over that particular ruler. The ruler would accept a British resident in his state, and some Indian rulers accepted the system and lost their freedom. जो ऑब्जेक्टिव था सब्सिडी अलायंस का वो यही था कि जो लोकल रूलर्स है इंडिया के वो अपना फ्रीडम खो दे और उनकी टेरिटरी जो है, उनकी जो मिलिट्री पावर है वो सब ब्रिटिश के हाथ में आ जाए. सो इन 1802 बाजीराव सेकेंड signed the Subsidies Alliance Treaty with the British. This alliance is well known as the Treaty of Vasai, but this treaty was not acceptable to some Maratha Sardars because they know the policy of British people or policy of British officers, and this led to the Second Anglo-Maratha War. After the victory of the British, there was increased interference of British into the Maratha state, and this became intolerable, and Bajirao II waged war against the British. He was defeated in this battle, and in 1818 he surrendered to the British. In the meantime, the capital of Mughals was under the control of Daulat Rao Shinde, and by defeating the troop of Sindh, General Lake captured the Mughal emperor and gained victory over Hindustan. So here one thing which we have to understand about the British officers or British people or about the company rule, that उनको बस एक जगह चाहिए थी कहीं भी घुसने के लिए, और जैसे ही वो मिलती थी तो वहाँ पे डिवाइड एंड रूल की पॉलिसी अपनाकर या फिर कुछ अलग ग्रीड वहाँ के लोकल रूलर्स को देकर वो अपनी जगह बना देते थे, और बाद में वो पूरी जो टेरिटरी है, वो पूरा रीजन जो है वो अपने हाथ में ले लेते थे. हियर टू अंडरस्टैंड next to the Subsidies Alliance about Chhatrapati Pratap Singh. Although the Peshwaship came to an end, Chhatrapati Pratap Singh of Satara was still ruling, and Britishers signed a treaty with Chhatrapati Pratap Singh. According to that treaty, he appointed Grant Duff as an officer to assist him in the state affairs. But later, as per the policies of British officers, the Chhatrapati was dethroned and exiled to Kashi. He died there in 1847. Then also, Rango Bapuji Gupte, who was a loyal officer of the Chhatrapati, fought the legal battle and went up to England, but his efforts were unsuccessful. And then the Lord Dalhousie took advantage of this situation. He rejected the adoption policy and in 1848 annexed the state of Satara. So this was all about the background of the effects of British rule. In the next session, we are going to talk about the effects of British rule on India. In that, we have to talk about dual government, parliamentary laws, civil services, military and police force, judicial system, equality before law, economic policies of the British, land revenue policy, consequences of new land revenue system, commercialization of agriculture, famine, development in transport and communication system, decline of traditional industries in India, development of new industries in India, and the last point of this topic, social and cultural effects. So all these points we'll study in the next session. Subscribe the channel and press bell icon to get notifications. So my dear students, this is all for today. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, take care.